What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here with Mr. Brian Daigle. Yesterday we said it was the last day of the loan agreement, but it seems as though that loan agreement has been extended. Tottenham on tour to We Are Tottenham TV. Here we go. How you doing, Brian?
I'm delighted with the move. This has been my dream move. As soon as I heard We Are Tottenham TV were interested, there was no other channel I wanted to speak to. This is a dream, and I can't wait to get going.
Yeah, this is the move you've been waiting for. Your one channel, your one and only channel.
Correct.
And here you are.
Here I am.
We got a lot to get through today, Brian. We got a big old chunky update, and it is our last pre-season of the last game of pre-season tomorrow against Bayern Munich, 5:30 kickoff. So we've obviously got the predicted lineup to bring to you as well. Yeah, I guess let's start off with this Tottenham update because there is quite a bit to get through. Another loan deal signed, sealed and delivered as George Abbott has joined Wickham Wanderers. He moves up from last year. He was at Notts County in League 2. He moves up to Wickham in League 1. So obviously we wish him all the best for the coming season and hoping he's going to smash it. And I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, but I'm delighted. Didn't know where he'd gone, but I'm delighted the way Spurs are doing it. They're staggering it up to get them prepared. Well done. I think Abbott showed how good he was in League 2 with Notts County. He'll now be in League 1 with Wickham, and I'm sure he'll thrive and get regular minutes. And I think this is hugely beneficial to not just the player, but to Tottenham.
Yeah, and you're looking at it now. I mean, it seems as though like a player's going out on loan every day at this moment in time since we've come back from the tour, and it's going to do them the world of good. It really is, and I believe they're all getting fairly good loans. There is a few that I am kind of wary of, you know, Oxford with Will Lancashire and stuff like that. But all in all, on the face of things, hopefully all these guys can go out and get consistent minutes and it will be wonders for their development. The one I'm most excited for is Mikey Moore at Rangers. I mean, if they go and win the qualifier for the Champions League, Mikey Moore gets 8 Champions League games. That'll be brilliant for him.
I will, but I think what we've got to look as well with Donnelly at Stoke and Lancashire at Oxford is, were there any other teams coming in for him? Were there teams that actually wanted them and could offer him first-team football? A club which may have been more beneficial to the style of football we play, or was it about them going out and getting minutes and Spurs having assurances? So we're all saying that we'd like to see Donnelly in the Premier League, which eventually we will do, and I cannot wait for that day. But if only Stoke or a team of that level are coming in for him, there's nothing we can do about it, but I think they'll all do well. It's again with Donnelly, League 2 to League 1. League 1 to Championship, with Donnelly. So I'm sure they'll do well. But Mikey Moore has got the greatest club loan at the moment, hasn't he? He will really do well up there, and he will come back a man.
Yeah, completely agree. Moving on, let's go and talk about Luca Vuskovic because they're saying a loan is in the offing for him. And the update, there's a couple here. One from Bild out in Germany says that Hamburg are in the race to take Luka Vuskovic on loan. There has been casual discussions between the club's sporting director and the player. Ben Jacobs says that Besiktas have inquired about Luka Vuskovic, but Tottenham are unwilling to sanction a move to Turkey. Genoa and other Italian clubs have also been interested in the player. Hamburg have also pitched their project to Vuskovic. Alistair Gold says that clubs interested in having Vuskovic on loan, the clubs that wanting to have a buy option in there for Vuskovic are being told by Tottenham Hotspur in no uncertain terms that offers will only be straight loan and there will be no buy options in any of the loans, which is obvious. I mean, Spurs obviously have to put that out. There's no chance we're going to be letting Luka Vuskovic go. I think it's good from the club in terms of shutting down all kind of loan moves to Turkey and Besiktas. But I do think, for him to go and play regular football in the Bundesliga and in Serie A will be very good for his development.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? And I said I'd rather he went to the Championship for getting used to England, the country, getting used to the culture and the manner and everything that goes on with the football in England. And you mentioned the Bundesliga, didn't you? You said Bundesliga was the league you mentioned. So obviously with Hamburg, that could happen. We know that they develop youth very, very well in Germany. And do you know what? If you go to Italy, the kings of the art of defending, that could be a huge education for him. So these loan moves are opening up to him. But it looks like Hamburg's a little bit further down the line, doesn't it, than others?
Yeah. Are you surprised after that first pre-season friendly? I know it was only against League One opposition. Goal and assist, obviously, in his first couple of touches. Are you surprised that we are loaning him out?
I'm more surprised we didn't get more minutes to evaluate him and see what he had. Obviously, Thomas Frank and the coaching staff see him daily and know exactly what they've got. We all thought, okay, with Phillips going, he's staying, he's going to be here, and he could play an integral part. But it looks like that isn't the case. And maybe these players, no matter their stature, their size, or whatever, they do need to go out and get a loan, get grounded, get first-team regular football for the benefit of Spurs. So I am a little bit surprised that we put him on loan, but I'm more surprised we didn't get more minutes from him to see more of him.
Let's talk about your boy next, Mr. Alfie Devine. Alistair Gold says that Alfie Devine is drawing a lot of interest from the Championship and Eredivisie clubs going into the season, obviously on loan. We have heard earlier in the window there's been interest from Millwall, there's been interest from Sheffield United. Where do you see him going, and what do you think is best for his development, Championship or Eredivisie?
I personally think Championship. I honestly, to see what he's got, playing week in, week out. We saw what he did in League One. He did go to Plymouth, but it didn't work out because of a change of manager. Eredivisie will do well. Look what he did for Troy Parrott. But I think he needs a Championship loan, being under the spotlight in England regularly to showcase what he's got and prove what a talent he is. So Eredivisie would be a good league for him to go to, but I think to get the real benefit of seeing what this guy has got, he's got to go to a Championship team, and I really hope he does.
Yeah. Look, he's had... I mean, all his loan spells have been decent. I don't think they've been like smashing out the waters like Donnelly did last season. I think they've all been decent. But I want to see him go somewhere next year, whether it's the Eredivisie or the Championship, and really dominate his position and get regular goal contributions and be an influential player in that team. And if he does do that, he can come back to Tottenham and really fight for that spot. Exactly.
I mean, pre-season last season, he was one of the best players. He came on... for one of the, I think it was Reading, wasn't it? He came on, and then he stayed behind.
Oh no, he started, didn't he? He started
against Reading, but then he played in one of the Wickham or Luton games. I think it might have been Wickham, but then obviously he didn't go on the tour. People will know on this channel how much I love him and rate him and think he is a star in the making. He does need to go out and make it. I will say, when you're saying the loans that he did all right, Port Vale he smashed. Port Vale he absolutely. He knocked that out of the park, but then Plymouth and then Westerlo, they were stop-start. But this boy is such a talent. And like I said, I really hope he goes somewhere where they can guarantee him first-team football. Like literally offer him minutes on the pitch. Not saying he has to start every game, but at least a quota of amount of minutes he's going to get, because he will shine.
Yeah, similar amount of minutes as like Donnelly got last year, you know. So look, we'll see what happens with that one. Next up, we're going to talk about Yves Bassuma, as Ben Jacobs says that there has been interest in Bassuma from clubs in Saudi, Turkey and in America. However, Bassuma would like to stay in Europe. And yeah, look, I can understand where Bassuma's coming from. The problem is, where does he sit? If no clubs or no offers come from European clubs, do you think he goes to Saudi, Turkey or America, or is he going to dig his heels in and try and fight for his spot at the club?
I think it's a bit of both, but I think this is where Spurs need to be a bit more ruthless and say, like, listen, if we want him out the door and it's the final year's contract, say, all right, listen, you're not going to play regular first-team football. You're not part of the main plans. So if you want first-team football, I advise you to go. That we need to be a bit more ruthless. Unless Frank has seen something in him, but I can't see us offering him a note. All the contracts we're hearing about, I think it's fairly obvious Basuma's not getting one. And I think at some point the club have got to say, right, this is your options. Either you stay here, your final year contract and won't get a lot of minutes, or you seek pastures new and maybe that will force it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the club have probably already said, you know, it's time for you to find a new club. But with Palhinha coming in, he's even further down the pecking order now. Bentangle's there as well, in the same position. But you can't force him to go somewhere he doesn't want to go. Like, if you don't want to go to Turkey, you don't want to go to America, you don't want to go to Saudi, then what's he supposed to do?
Well, we have a nice season, just picking up a nice wage packet, won't he?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the kind of thing we've got ourselves into. Maybe near the end of the window, Spurs drop the fee. Maybe it's the asking price that may be an issue, and if it drops by 2.5, 5 million, just spitballing numbers here, then it becomes more appealing to teams in Europe that may be able to put through a deal together. So I think this one drags on, but I do see window shut, East Bassouma's out the door.
Yeah, I hope so. As much as I like Bassuma and I like his character, I just feel like quality-wise, in terms of consistency, we just need better. And Palini is through the door now. Bentancur is a better player, more consistent player, in my opinion. So it's time for Bassuma to move on. And it might even end up being a loan deal. And that loan deal will take him to the end of his contract. So we'll see what happens.
Like Højbjerg, but obviously it will be a free deal at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because there won't be a contract.
Yeah. Now let's talk about potential incomings. We're going to talk about Paul Van Hecke of Brighton. Ben Jacobs says that Tottenham do have genuine interest in Van Hecke. However, Brighton are currently unwilling to sell him. What that means that if Spurs do want Van Hecke, it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. He's a player I love. I think he was brilliant last season for Brighton on the right-hand side of their defence, playing out of the back, very aggressive defender as well. But if Brighton are unwilling to sell, we know how much they go for with these players that Brighton are unwilling to sell. They usually go for close to 100 million.
I look forward to, whilst we're doing these incomings, all the Spurs have got concrete blah, 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 then the comma, and then the word to just wrap it up and say, OK, let's move on. Yeah, this is going to take a monster bid, isn't it? And we know how Brighton operate. Brighton don't let their players go for cheap if they're under contract. He's an integral part of their defence with Dunk. I just can't see this getting off the out starting blocks. It will take silly money to go get him.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we are going to be talking about... We're going to be talking about Rafael Leao, the AC Milan left winger, star left winger. And as you can see there on the graphic, a host of clubs being mentioned with him in the press, alongside us, Man City, Barcelona, Arsenal as well. And Ben Jacobs says that Tottenham have inquired about Rafael Leao, but he is in love with AC Milan. However, due to no European football, Milan will be willing to sell to fund their transfer window. Give Me Sport have also said that Tottenham have added Rafael Leao to their list of targets to replace Son Heung-min this summer. And when you're talking about replacing Son Heung-min with star quality, I mean, it probably doesn't get much bigger than Rafael Leao. If AC Milan are willing to do a deal, and we can, Frank can get Leao on the phone and try and convince him, this has got to be the one that we go for, surely, if it's possible.
If it's possible, if you look at it, we've done this before when we've spoken. The wages seem doable.
Yeah.
The wages that he's on at AC Milan are, I can't remember if it was euros or pounds, but it's 132,000 euros or pounds per week, which Spurs could definitely match, or at least give him a pay rise.
He'll get a pay rise for sure.
Yeah, of course. So it's within our £200,000 a week remit currently. Well, we're suddenly gone, but you know what I mean. The fee will be the biggest problem, but like I said, this would be genuine quality brought into the football club. And of all the names that we're hearing, like the ones that will take money, this one has the star quality, but this one is the most doable.
I think so.
This is the most doable. Obviously, we're saying no, of course we won't get it done for reason A, B, C. But if you look at the actual structure of everything, Spurs should be able to get this done. What you got to say is if Rafa Leao, like Bastoni, says, nope, I love Milan, I don't want to leave, then there's nothing you can do. That's no fault of the club, the player, the owners, whatever. That is the player pledging his allegiance and saying, I love Milan, I'm staying here. And you can't do anything. But whilst there is a possibility, let's just hope Spurs explore it and really try to do it, because that is a huge statement signing.
Yeah, we need to go out and make a statement and say, look, this is our number one target. This is who we want as a priority over anyone. We need to do the utmost to convince him to join the club. We need to put our money where our mouth is as well, and go make a significant offer of probably north of 70 million to AC Milan. And if you can get someone like him through the door, imagine, you're signing Rafael Leao on the left, Kudus on the right. I mean, that is unbelievable attacking options going into the season. And it'll be a massive statement signing. And it might be the biggest signing in the Premier League this summer, in my opinion. So, look, do I expect us to get it done? No. But I do think when you think about it, it can be done. If Spurs really want it, I think it can be done. And I think he can be swayed. Champions League football, the London pool, everything like that. With Milan needing money as well. So there are like little bits to this deal from the club side and the player side, which I think can be convinced.
Hopefully Luka Modric can have a word and get in his ear and tell him. But like you said, if we look at this, and I think this goes to show with all the players we're going to go through and everything, when we come to the predicted lineup and we get to the top part of the pitch, we are going to be like, right, okay. This, like we said, this is really doable. Financially and wage, everything to do with it. It's just a case of whether Spurs will at least make an attempt to go for it. And we really hope they do, because this would be, after what's been going on and the lack of activity, this would be like, well, there you go, have some of this.
Yeah.
And that will be a huge signing within the Premier League, like you said.
Yeah. Let's move on to Dusan Vlahovic, as Ben Jacobs says that Tottenham have been offered the chance to sign Dusan Vlahovic this summer. Look, I've made it no secret. I want a number 9 this summer to replace Richarlison. Again, a bit similar to Bassuma. I don't dislike Richarlison. I like Richarlison. I like his mentality. I like his attitude. I think he's got more consistent quality than Yves Bassuma. And he gets you goals, He really does. More than Solanke as well. When you're looking at the goals per games and goals per minutes ratio, he's got a better goals per minutes ratio than Solanke. The big problem is obviously that we've spoken about a million times on this channel is the injuries. You just can't get him on the pitch as often as you would like. I think if we could get sell Richarlison this summer and bring in a Dusan Vlahovic, I know it hasn't gone completely according to plan at Juventus, but there's a reason why Max Allegri, who was his old manager at Juventus, wants him at AC Milan. I do think he's a player of high caliber, and I think he'd be a very good signing for us in competition with Dom Solanke.
Yeah, look, we definitely need number 9. I was kind of with you. When he was going from Fiorentina to Juve, I really wanted him. And then when he said he wanted more than Harry Kane, I was like, not a chance, go away. Hasn't quite worked out at Juventus, has he? But he is a clinical goal scorer. The one thing with him, I don't think he offers you a lot apart from goals, does he? He is just an out-and-out goal scorer. Hold-up play is okay, but with what we're looking at as a strike force right now, does Dusan Vlahovic improve it immediately? Absolutely. Is his form questionable over the last few years? Yes. But at the price, what's the price they're saying they're around the value for?
I think it's fairly cheap. I think it's around like 20 million or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what kind of striker with that kind of pedigree are you able to bring in at 20 million? I think another problem with him may be wages.
It's massively. He is on monster wages, like monster wages. I'm just looking at it now. He's on 427,000 euros a week, which is mad. But he's pushing to leave Juventus. He wants to leave Juventus. Juventus want him out. So I mean, nobody else is paying him those kind of wages. So if he's gonna leave, then he's gonna have to take a wage cut.
Well, he's gonna have to take pretty much close to £250,000 a week drop to come to us.
Yeah,
close to, unless again Juventus subsidise, but they'd have to subsidise a hell of a lot, because like you said, not just Spurs, no one's paying that wages for him. No one.
Yeah. So that is the Vlahovic situation. Let's move on and talk about Bilal Elcanus of Leicester. Ben Jacobs says that Spurs have been considering inquiring for Bilal Elcanus. Elcanus has a £22 million release clause and he wants to play in the Premier League. However, Sasha Tavaleri does say that playing in European competition is not a decisive factor for Elcanus. Leeds United have scheduled a meeting with the player in the coming days, and Crystal Palace could also make a move depending on departures next week. Look, we spoke about him, I think, last week or earlier in this week, Bilal Elcanus. I think he's a very good player. I think he offers a lot of creativity, left foot, right foot, can thread the ball through the eye of the needle. A little bit lightweight, to be honest, but I do think he's got a lot of techers and he will be very creative for us. And obviously we need a number 10. That's there for all to see. Would I prefer to go for other targets? Yes. But would I be unhappy if we brought him in? Would it be underwhelming if we brought him in? If I said that at the start of the window, probably. I'm not going to lie. It probably would be underwhelming. But I do think he's a good player, and I do think he would prove quite a few people wrong next season.
So first of all, I'd love to know what considering inquiring actually is. Well, I mean, what is that? We are considering about moving on. When we did speak about this, it was before the James Maddison injury.
Yeah.
And if he had been coming in with James Maddison or a number 10, then okay. But I don't see him being the number 10 quality-wise and proven quality that we need now to spearhead Tottenham all season. Or most of the season. If we'd had a Maddison or a Kulu fit and so they can rotate, okay, I'd warm to the idea. Not happy we're going down the relegation release or relegation teams again and cheap. But now that we have no established creator, I don't want to say, right, we're going to go get him and he is the one that's going to do it in the Champions League and the Premier League. If a secondary one, another one comes in, then yeah, maybe. But would you be happy if that's the only creator we have until James Maddison's back?
Until Kulusevski's back.
Or Kulu, yeah.
Yeah, but look, we're talking about Kudus being able to fill in that role as well. So it won't just fall on him to play week in, week out, every single game in that position. Would I be... Look, like I said, at the beginning of the window, it would have been underwhelming. I still think it is slightly underwhelming. However, I do think he's a very good player and a very underrated player. And I think he can prove a lot of people wrong if he was to join Spurs. But it remains to be seen, doesn't it? That's the problem.
It does. It does. And the only other problem with what you said, Ben, which I agree, Kudus can play there, but we bought Kudus to play on the right, to solve the right winger issues. And straight away we're like, yeah, well, if we need to, we can move this player out of the position we signed him for and put him in this position. And then right wing is back to where we were. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next 26 days now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, 26 days, but 7 days until the Super Cup. A week today, which is actually mad how underprepared we are. And only 7 days until that Super Cup, which is only a few days before that start of the season. And I was thinking about this, and I just saw someone mention it in the comments, and I've actually been banging this for the last 24 hours. Why the hell are Spurs not moving for someone like Lee Kangin from PSG? He's not getting a look in at PSG at this moment in time. First half of last season, he was one of their main players and kind of lost his space because all the youngsters that have come to the fore for them in the second half of the season, it's just hard to take them out of the team. I think he would be an unbelievable player for Spurs.
Has there been even the remotest link?
Nothing.
Who knows? But you're right. We were speaking about it earlier before you got to the studio and you were bringing him up and agreed. He solves a lot of the issues, doesn't he? Champions League, pedigree, just so much. And he's a very good player. So I don't see why we aren't going for players like this that may be attainable.
Yeah. People in the comments saying he's more of a right winger. I mean, look, we cover every single career game and he does for career play more on the right wing. But his assets and his skills and his skill set is definitely more of a number 10 than a winger. I tell you that. Whenever he's moved into the middle, he looks so much more better and he looks so much more creative. So I think if we could sign him and play him as number 10, I think that would be brilliant for us.
Sorry, go on, you finish, bro.
No, I was just saying he's an absolute baller.
I was about to say then, we were just talking now. Now, if you went and signed him and as people were saying he's more of a right winger, then you've added strength to your right wing, like genuine strength, then you can maybe say, Kudus, right, we can play you inside on certain games because we've got the talent to play there on the right wing. So that you could do it that way. But like we said, you cover a lot of career games and you've seen him. But there is a player there that immediately adds strength and quality and depth to the football club.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. Not getting minutes at PSG, probably looking to move on in search of game time. We've got a clear void at number 10. We're a Champions League club now. Go get him. I just don't get it why we wouldn't. Maybe it's something they're working on in the background, who knows, but there has been not one link about it as of yet. Anyway, let's move on about what we're seeing in the links. And Eberechi Eze. Let's talk about Eberechi Eze. Well, there's no real links to Tottenham with Eberechi Eze, but what I'm going to say is that Ben Jacobs says that Palace wants 68 million for Eze, and currently there is no club willing to pay that amount. And it is unclear if Tottenham will approach Eze after James Maddison suffered a fresh injury. I think right at this moment in time, there is such a big opportunity to get Eberechi Eze at this club. Arsenal are huffing and puffing. It doesn't look like they're getting it over the line. I don't know what's going on with that situation. If Arsenal was stalling on this deal, surely this is prime time for Spurs to go swoop in there, pay the money, and get Eberechi Eze through the door. Is there a better option for us? Prem proven, knows how to do it at this level, ready to explode in terms of to a Champions League club. Is there a better option to fill the void than Eberechi Eze? No. And when you look at it, like I said, there's the 60 million floating in the air from Morgan Gibbs-White. There is a release fee, obviously. It's very well known, this release fee. I think that release fee's expired now.
There's so many people saying it has or it hasn't. So let's just, whatever. But the money is there. Obviously, if we're bidding huge money for Rodrygo, but he doesn't want us, but he does want us, blah, blah, and all that nonsense.
Yep.
Why not? Again, if Spurs go and do this and say, right, here you go, there's 68 million, or let's say it's expired 70, 75, and it's like Spurs make £75 million offer for Eberechi Eze, accepted by Palace, and then Eze says no. Let's just say Eze says no. At least Spurs have shown intent. At least Spurs have gone for a player of real quality and said, right, listen, this is what we can offer you. This is the project. This is what we can do. Player turns it down, player turns it down. But to just simply not be able to do something when we're crying out for exactly his profile of player that can operate centrally and on the left when we have big issues there at the moment, is gettable, is quite frankly ridiculous that we're not even testing the water.
Yeah. This is a deal that Spurs should be all over. And look, if Arsenal come in and if Arsenal pay the money, he's obviously going to choose Arsenal over Spurs. That's a no-brainer at this moment in time. Obviously, he's an Arsenal fan, got let go from the Arsenal Academy when he was a young boy. And I think, you know, Arsenal is the dream for him, which is hard for us to hear and hard for us to take. However, if Arsenal don't end up going for him, which I don't know what's going on, like I said, with that situation, we have to swoop in there because I think we'd be the next best option.
Agreed. And like we said, there are no teams making the move for him or prepared to pay the fee. If we were prepared to pay the 60 million for Morgan up front, then why can we not up it by 8 million, especially with how desperate we are for filling that void now?
Yeah.
Like we are in desperate need of a player that can create and can chip in with goal contributions, losing 67 of them from Maddison, Kulu and Son. This guy comes in and solves a large chunk of that and can assist and score. So I just don't understand why we aren't making a move for him. And
he can also play at left wing. So he kind of killed two birds with one stone. So, yeah, look, that's the Eze situation. Hopefully some more links or some more concrete information comes out regarding that situation, but nothing as of yet. Let's move on to the Jack Grealish situation, which is an interesting one because we heard this morning from David Ornstein that Everton have open talks with Man City over a potential move for Jack Grealish. Everton's approach for the 29-year-old Man City winger is based on a season-long loan deal. Complicated deal to do, no guarantees to materialise, but discussions are happening for the England international. And then Fabrizio Romano says that there has been a call in recent days from Tottenham to understand the situation of Jack Grealish. No current advanced negotiations. And if they're looking to understand the situation with Jack Grealish, they'll know that Man City don't really want him anymore. And if they're calling to understand the situation, surely it means that we've got some sort of interest in Jack Grealish. So if Man City are saying they don't want him, They're willing to subsidise wages on a season-long loan deal. Surely it's a great deal to do. Again, similar to Eberechi Eze, can play left wing, can play in the middle. We've got a void. I know we've got Odebear and Tell, but we've got a clear quality void on the left with Son leaving, and we've got no one at all in the 10. Obviously, I prefer Eberechi Eze through the door, but I think Jack Grealish would be an adequate kind of stopgap as well.
Well, it looks like Everton are making a few moves for big players since moving to their game-changing stadium. With the £100 million of debt they got to pay, they're making moves for players. Jack Grealish, obviously, wherever he goes, is going to be heavily subsidised, especially Everton as well. But Everton have come in with their new owners, new stadium, a lot to be cheerful for as they start their new season at the new ground. And it looks like they're making a push for things with David Moyes. And I just hope, like you said, how long have we had interest in Jack Grealish for now? 6 years? 7? Like, whilst we were monitoring the situation and all the buzzwords you want to use. We need a... We've just said it. Leao, Eze, now Grealish, all can add serious quality to what we need in an area that we desperately need it. With the Premier League, what now? 10 days away, our first game.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's going to probably be a loan. Wages subsidised. Again, this, I don't understand why we're phoning up for situations. We should be saying, we're in a bit of a dire situation. Let's get this wrapped up.
Yeah. Look, I think in terms of Jack Grealish, I would like to see him at the club if we can't get any other targets. Like, for me, Kangin Lee and Eberechi Eze should be of higher priorities to Spurs than a Jack Grealish. If we can't get those kind of caliber signings, then I think then we should move for a Jack Grealish. I don't know if you think the same.
I would have Eze over anyone. As you've known, I think he's just genuine, pure quality. But yeah, there are players about. There are players that are gettable. Let's just hope Spurs now really start making some moves to get this position sorted. This void needs to be filled before we get going. Because like we said, the defence looks fine.
Yeah.
So, like shape-wise, tactically. But the one problem this pre-season has been creativity. And we need to sort it out now.
Yeah, totally true. And the last name we've got to bring to you is everyone's favourite rumour of this summer. And he goes by the name of Rodrygo of Real Madrid. And there's a journalist out in Spain called Pacojo Ser. He's a Real Madrid journalist. And he says Tottenham are now prioritising the arrival of Rodrygo to replace Son Heung-min. Spurs plan to submit an offer in the region of £52 million. So this is the kind of... I don't know what it is with this rumour, but it just does not seem to be going away. Whatever you want to say about it, every Spurs fan is saying, nah, it's rubbish, it's rubbish, it's rubbish. We're saying that here as well. But it just never seems to be going away. And it just seems to be every different publication is saying something different on it. We heard a few weeks ago or last week saying, well, we're willing to pay the fee, but not the wages, or we're willing to pay the wages, but not the fee. Some said that we've actually put in a bid of around 80 million. This guy's saying that we're submitting an offer of 52 million. I mean, what is going on?
Mate, you got. I literally think that these journalists and ITKs have literally got a dartboard and they're just chucking 3 darts, and whatever number they get with, that's the amount of the bid we're putting in today. The only realistic thing about this is that apparently Real Madrid want 90 and we've bid 52. That's the most realistic. That's the most realistic part of it. I don't know why. I think this window opened wraps up, Ben. I think you're going to have to say for We Are Tottenham TV, it's been the daily Rodrygo, hasn't it? It's been the daily spend, the daily Rodrygo. This still just simply won't happen. It's not going to happen. And if this was a prioritised, why aren't we further down the line with how desperately we need? Why are we making phone calls to Jack Grealish? Why are we discussing with Leao? Why? It's not happening. Like I said, this happens. I wake up the next day with David Ginola hair.
I think that is more likely, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
But, look, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I am not holding my breath. And yeah, look, I can pretty much guarantee that this ain't happening. So let's press forward. Let's go for targets like Eze, like Kangin Lee, potentially Jack Grealish, because Rodrygo ain't coming. So I think the press can stop trying to wind us up on this situation. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below all your thoughts regarding all the news stories we have brought to you today.